to be talking about how Salesforce can be customised and developed to support your non-profit to measure your impact in a better way. And I'm delighted to have Osmond and Richard here from ACH, Ashley Community Housing, to talk about their journey over the last 2 years when we first got involved in helping them implement Salesforce to improve their impact management. So I'll be doing less of the talking today, hopefully, and handing over to my colleagues to talk about their journey and experience. So we've got 4 key themes I really want to talk about today to help tell the story, really. So we're going to start with impact matters and centralisation of data. So one of our biggest things when we go into organisations and their needs is about how do we bring our data together. We've got spreadsheets here and different databases here tracking impact for different projects. And what their vision is to create a database which gives them the organisational theory of change and impact management. And so their vision is very much inspired by this dashboard where they can see all of their impact as an organisation and what they're achieving, but then they can silo it and fragment it down to actually see what different programmes and projects are doing underneath that. So it's really about real-time impact management, having a dashboard which at any point in time you can see what you're doing, which is a great love of fundraisers who need to know that data, as well as programme delivery staff who need to know where they are in performing on contracts. So I'm going to ask Richard and Osmond to talk about how Salesforce has helped them with impact management overall and what benefits have they gained from this new approach. Shall I hand over now?
Thank you very much, Heather. First of all, I would like to thank Heather for inviting us. It's a real pleasure to be here with you. Ashley Community Housing, we are a social enterprise that helps newly arrived refugees. So we help refugees to integrate in the community. So we started to use Salesforce about 2 years ago, and mainly for our client-facing operation. So we focus first on our training and support. In terms of support, what I mean by that is restorative care. So our clients require assistance in sort of achieving the outcomes they want to achieve. So when we started the journey, before we started the journey, we used to use a lot of paperwork, as you can imagine. So you create files to identify what our clients require in terms of training, in terms of support. So there was a lot of documentation that was involved in that work. So one of the challenges we faced, to give you an example, in 2015, we had by that time worked with thousands of people. And in 2015 we had worked, sorry, the microphone is not very good, sorry. So in 2015 we had worked with hundreds or at least 1,000 people by that time, and we're trying to evaluate to see how many people that had gone through our service. So using the old method, I think it took us about 3 months to actually figure out how many people had moved over, how many people had gone through our services. So immediately when we implemented Salesforce, this work became much more easier. As soon as we migrated all the files, we could access information instantly. We could sort of track our performance. We could analyze sort of trends that we had previously had not spotted, so we could understand what opportunities exist, what are the real needs of our clients. So obviously we could also show and demonstrate to our staff the impact. As you can imagine, it's very difficult to look at so many files and collect that information to spreadsheets. So this became very easy for us. So what are the benefits that we have gained from this new approach? Information organization. So we're much more adept in organizing our information. We've become much more adept in analyzing sort of our information and creating reports. I think also we have become much more better in giving a better service to our client, understanding them much more better, and also collaborating. So these are some of the sort of benefits that we've gained.
Thanks, Osman, that's brilliant. Okay. So moving on to the next sort of key area. So obviously people say, oh, data administration, that's going to be a lot of work and admin, and people start rolling their eyes a little bit. if you like, if you're collecting data on spreadsheets anyway, it's no different to actually putting data into a system. But what actually digital technology allows you to do is harness the real power of the overall platform that Salesforce offers and all the third-party apps that it enables. So it really empowers staff, but also your volunteers and your beneficiaries to help populate data into your system automatically, either through direct data entry, through online forms, offline forms, mobile, and integration with other systems. So it can actually speed up and automate a lot more data collection. So again, we go back to the vision of a real-time dashboard where it's collecting this data. The key emphasis for GDPR now is that data is also secure. So Salesforce prides itself on its trust and its security platform. It is a global CRM. So if you're working with any funders and you need to justify your security around your system, you've got a safe place to have it. So it's about collecting that information, storing it safely, and collecting and evaluating to this feedback real time, as Osman reflected on. So I'm going to hand over again here to say, how does the team interact? How do they get data into Salesforce on a daily basis in order to make sure you've got all those figures to hand? And how do you train and support the staff every day, Osman?
Okay, so how do we use on a daily basis? So client interaction, obviously. So we have two client-facing operations. We've got training and support. So on a daily basis, those two teams use so we use sort of to track the journey of our learners, to track sort of our performance in terms of our tenants. So we run a number of properties as social housing, so we've got hundreds of clients. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of information that's required. So those two, I would say, is the main areas that we work on, but also gathering information about our properties and managing our properties. So we would use that for those services. In terms of training and support that we provide to our clients, our staff, we've had a really experienced project manager assigned to us from Economic Change. They helped us sort of to build the Salesforce instance. So in the beginning, Martin Brockwell, we were sending him lots of questions. How do we use this? How do we use that? But as we went along, I think we got much better at using the system. It's very friendly. It's I would say an open system. You can query, you can Google search if you come across any issues. So in the beginning, those were sort of the guidance we used. We also received a series of training workshops from Economic Change in the customized objects that were built for us. So that was really helpful. We received also training manual. Eventually, I think the longer we went on that journey, we also identified a number of our staff became really adept in using the system, and we were encouraging that and sort of promoting them as champions and supporting them to teach their peers. So I think that was some of the training that we provided to our team.
Thanks, Osman. And I think they're a real example. As an organisation, after the implementation, there was a number of staff that really got involved, Osman one of them, and they self-manage their system. They can self-manage. So that after 2 years, you still have about 4 hours on your support contract that's still sat there that you can use and call us as you need. But that's what we empower organisations to do. As a non-profit, it's your system. You can customise it. You should be able to own and manage it going forward. And that's where the power of clicks rather than code can really empower you. So they are self-managing. They have, as an organisation, trained staff internally to understand and customise Salesforce themselves, and that's what we really champion for our clients. So well done in terms of mastering it. Our third strand for today is really about nurturing customer relationships, and this is about, we talked about aggregated data and understanding impact measurement, which is great, but Salesforce is a client relationship management system. It's away from a database, if you like, in that sense. It's about what is going on with that particular individual and that customer. How are they doing on their journey? What has been their feedback? Has there been any complaints? And really just being able to build that relationship better and understand it from that level. So it's about achieving that 360-degree view of a customer. And with that goes hand in hand the data protection as well now. So one, you've got to understand about the customer, but two, you've got to make sure their data is secure and protected, and again, that's what Salesforce can really offer. So handing back to Osman and Richard, in your experience, how has Salesforce helped you improve your relationships with your customers, and how is it supporting you to achieve the security compliance now?
With Salesforce, it's actually really given us that opportunity to find out who our customers actually are. So we're still, every month, we look at the data we're collecting on people and the information that we need to have with people and what we're going to do with that. So all of our original data was being collected around individual separate programs. And currently we have about 3,500 people going through 9 different programs. So we've got a lot of separate, disparate data sets. And looking at them separately, it's very difficult to manage and know what you're really doing with a person. And that's important because the service that we're offering is a refugee integration service, which actually is a longitudinal service. It can take up to 7 years to really progress somebody through service, or some people it can only take 2 or 3 months. We need to know what the different characteristics are of the people that we're working with, so we can tailor services. So that's in the terms of the delivery. We're able to look at the different types of people that we're working with, the characteristics, and actually move them within our own services to the correct offer for their needs. And then on the flip side of that, we work with local authorities, we work with government contractors, and there's a real shortage of data around refugees and what's required to give them a successful integration journey. So our data now is developing to become one of the richest data sets around refugee integration. Currently in the UK, but as we're working with our European partners, we're finding that our data sets over this next couple of years will be the largest data sets available, referring to refugee integration and requirements for successful integration. So not only does it mean we can track our customers, our refugee customers, and do simple things like business improvement, but it actually means we can now drive policy to get better systems in place at local authority and devolved authority levels in relation to refugee integration. So that's been a major plus point. It makes us as an organisation so much more confident because we have something that the rest of the country actually needs. But then we have compliance. So we now have large amounts of data and we have to comply. Well, GDPR for us is fairly straightforward. We have a quarantine wall, so we know what individuals we're working with, and that data goes onto the system. If our other contracts don't allow us to put data onto our system, like the detailed data, at least we know what people have been through our processes. So when it comes to deleting, we can track the person back and know what contracts their data has been collected for, and then ultimately who has that data. So in terms of enabling compliance, it means we've got 3,200 people a year that we're working with, and we now know where their data is. 2 years ago, we had no idea where any of their data was, realistically. So it's a big plus point.
Great, thanks Richard. I think that's really inspiring actually, and I think that's the power of having that data and that intelligence, isn't it? But also understanding different people's needs, which Osman was talking about before. It's really about, one, you can really drive a campaign and really support people to achieve So moving on to our final slides before we all get the keynote speech, maximising user adoption. And this is about bringing everybody along with you. So you might have an organisation or somebody within that organisation that champions a CRM, but you've got to get everybody else convinced and on board. And the two biggest things that influence a successful CRM is executive sponsorship and proper business analysis. And when we talk about business analysis, that's really about getting people involved in the design of the database, ask what they need and want, and help them to understand what it can achieve. So it's very much a co-design process. Secondly, with executive sponsorship, it's about having the money and budget and time set aside for everybody to embark on this journey to develop and design, but also to learn and train up in how to use it as part of their day-to-day role. That's where CRMs can fall down if those two things aren't yet in place. So, you know, it's really about identifying all of those different aspects and then celebrating success for when you roll it out and help people see the benefits for all of them throughout that process. So handing back to Richard and Osman, what was your business case for it? You've obviously shared a lot of good success stories already, but what was the initial business case of why you needed it and how has it helped to achieve your overall goals?
For ACH, 2 years ago, there was a lot of pressure to start measuring social impact. Every charitable organisation was producing social impact reports, and at that time we thought we had to go along the same path because that's where the funders were looking. There was also the shared value, or the social value components of tenders. So again, we're looking at, well, how do we prove that we have some social impact? So it's very focused on securing new money into the business and being able to prove our value as a business. And that's what we went for. We've used it, and initially we identified some of our impacts and we started to produce a draft report. And then we realised that actually the business case as we were going through the process was not around producing social impact data for some funder somewhere as part of a competition to get some money. The business case behind having Salesforce is to actually know what we need to do with our customers. So if our customers want to progress to university, then we needed a system that enabled us to bring all of the bits of the organisation together to get somebody to university. If somebody wanted a job working as a cleaner, then we needed a way of getting that person to an employer and getting the job. So the whole business case has been around actually how do we improve the business? And that's what we find. So we've got the business case for improving the business, and then this second bit of business case around telling other people how good we actually are. We've altered quite a bit since then. So now Salesforce is written into every funding application that I do. The costs of extra training is incorporated in every bid and tender that I do, because we've realised that as an organisation we are really disrupting the whole process of refugee integration. And having data means I can actually prove that I'm disrupting the system of refugee integration. And it gives me a great confidence. 2 years ago, as an organisation, we would have been approached to do focus groups by a larger organisation who needed to. Larger organisations would come to us because they wanted to be able to get some refugee information, because they wanted to show that their bids incorporated some sort of version of a voice of the refugee. And now I'm actually looking to partner with organisations like the University of Oxford, with their refugee observatory. I'm partnering with University of Bristol, I'm partnering with University of Birmingham, I'm partnering with the Institute or the International Organisation for Migration, partnering with the Refugee Council and others, because we actually have a research practitioner base. We actually do stuff, and we have got the data that shows the longitudinal effect of the work that we're doing. So now, instead of being that token, bid candy, focus group provider, we, through Salesforce, are actually able to go, we are your equal partner. And that's a big difference.
That's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, round of applause. So Salesforce.org asked me to provide somebody inspiring today, and I think they did nail that on the head. Thank you so much to both of you. So I'm sure you'll be around today. Thanks so much for your inspiration around that. It's been a delight to have you and to tell your story. And Economic Change will be here as well in the expert area. There'll be a member of staff here this afternoon. I'm sure Osman and Richard will be around and be happy to answer any other questions. But thank you again, and a round of applause for Ashley Housing.
Thank you very much.